Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
We both have PS5s and PlayStation
hmm
stuff, which means that we got early access, bonus access. I don't really know how this whole demo thing for Resident Evil 8 works, but
It's
there
very
was
silly.
there was 8 hours where we could play Resident Evil 8 for 30 minutes only, and we both did that. For whatever reason or however we got access to that, it
Yeah.
happened.
I think it's very silly, but I just like the idea of you have to play the game at night. I was like, that's kind of fun. I think that's what they were going for, but
Yeah.
like they made this very stupid schedule and then just say it's like we're making you play at night for a limited time only. It's like just say that. That's kind of neat.
That was I realized that as I was going like, okay, like by the time like everybody else goes to bed and I got 30 minutes where I can sit down and do this, like it's Saturday night, like we already had
Yeah.
stuff planned, and then I was like, oh, you did this on purpose. I was like, it's gonna be like I'm gonna be half awake and tired, and it's gonna be dark, and it's gonna be
Spooky. Yeah.
I get
It was
what you
like
did there.
yeah, it was like really stupid, but like just that aspect I thought was like kind of neat. But anyway, we can keep talking. I think it's boring stuff, but I just thought that was cool.
But anyway, we both played through it. I had already had this pre-ordered. I had this pre-ordered since like January. I had pre-ordered this a long time ago because it's Resident Evil. But I thought this was really, really well done, and it got me really excited for this game.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The gameplay, just with the guns and kind of the one, I think you really only do one little fight.
Yeah.
But even that, I had just played through Resident Evil 7 about a month ago, just to kind of get ready for this. It feels so much better than Resident Evil 7 does, because I think Resident Evil 7 had a little bit of a rough time with some of the more intense gunfights, but even with like the molded just kind of wandering through you, these I guess they're werewolves kind of jumping around a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
there's something.
Something like that, jumping around a little bit more. It was easier to track them even than it was some in Resident Evil 7, and just I don't know. I thought it had some good story hooks. I was excited when it finished to go, all right, yep, I'm in. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, I think I was pretty tepid on it. Like I really, really loved the tech demo where you did nothing. And I think it's kind of funny because I think the demo where you did essentially nothing but walked around a spooky castle, it's like your mind is like, this game could be anything. And then like I played this one, I was like, oh, okay, it's Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, but I was definitely more tepid on it than I was, I think the original demo. I think for a few reasons, but I think the big one was I really thought the concept of I guess you would say like an active takeover is happening. So like in Resident Evil 4, like essentially the village is already taken over. It's like it's happened. And in this one, it's like it's happening, which I thought was very, very cool. And I love the context for that of like, okay, let's do like a Resident Evil game. Because I feel like most of the Resident Evil games, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 6 happens during an event, but everything seems to be like post an event. Is that fair enough to say?
I think yes. Most of it is in response to an event happening. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't remember anything about 6. That was a pile of crap.
Sure. But like, yeah, they seem like it's like, oh, we're coming in as like cleaning up after something has happened. And this one, I like that it's like a village that's currently dealing with an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really, really cool way to contextualize like a Resident Evil game.
Because that scene in the house where you're kind of got everybody gathered around, like, do we bring them in? Do we not bring them in? And again, I think we all kind of do this at this point with the pandemic of COVID and everything going around. It's that same thing of like, oh, there's a lot of people in here. Like, is one of them, he's bleeding. Like he just caught, like, I instantly had that feeling of like, oh yeah, I get it. Like there's like 12 people in this house. There shouldn't be 12 people in this house.
It was funny because the thing I thought was kind of cool is like I didn't know how because zombie bites in Resident Evil are kind of inconsistent. I don't think you don't regularly see people. You do, I guess you do see people turn, but it was like that was such a neat scene with seeing like somebody turn with like 5 or 6 people. It's like who's going to get out of the situation alive, and nobody does, which is fun. But I think the biggest issue I had was which I guess I talked a little bit with you about before. What I'll call it the Detroit Become Human syndrome, where in Detroit Become Human, they're like, this game is set in Detroit. And if you're from Detroit, it's like, clearly this game has nothing to do with Detroit, nothing at all.
Yes.
So I've been to Romania. In these areas, I've actually been to the castle that they reference in this game. It's not like this one's like a fake castle, but it's very clearly a Romanian style castle. The castle that they based on is super fucking cool, and I'm extremely excited to see that castle again because it's got a lot of like cool secret doors and stuff, and it's all redwood. And you play the original demo. That's very similar to that. The thing I really didn't like about it though, it's that they took that aesthetic of Romania. like even the pots and pans like look Romanian, like the woven cloths like look like Romanian patterns. It's like very clearly Romania, to the point where it's like they really took some care into like making sure it looked like that. I would say almost unlike Detroit, where it's just like, okay, as long as we get like some of the big stuff in there.
So you reference Cars, we're good.
Yeah, and like, okay, it's like, and then here's like a picture of kind of the Joe Louis arena and that kind of thing, and it's like, okay, I kind of see it. But I think with Detroit, you could kind of just like, at some point, you're like, this is just not Detroit, and I'll just enjoy the story. But it was just so clearly like, we took our time to make sure this is Romania, And the reason I'm kind of setting that up is because like the characters are so clearly not even like not Romanian like at all. And I was actually thinking about this on my drive today, because I was like, why does it bug me in this game that everybody has English accents, while it doesn't necessarily bug me in other stuff like Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
And I think the caveat I kind of come to is in Ghost of Tsushima, while everybody's speaking English, in your head you know that they're speaking Japanese. So
you get the dubbed effect where you're like, I know this is dubbed. I get that this is dubbed. This is a liberty they're taking to make it easier for me.
Exactly. But then, so the thing where I'm seeing the cross happen, where it's like, this doesn't make sense to me, is Ethan is American, I assume, talking with people who are in a small Romanian village, both in perfect English, and there's like no story context where they may not understand each other kind of thing. And I thought that that'd be such a cool thing to play with.
30-minute vertical slice. You don't know. Maybe right before this, he got injected with a language translator. You don't know. There's all kinds of horribly done plot devices that work there. But I get what you're saying.
See, that actually would totally work for me. If he gets injected with he can speak Romanian, I'm fine. But I just thought that'd be such a cool thing to play with. Like, that'd be so cool. It's like, he's in a country where he doesn't know the language, he doesn't know this, but like everybody's speaking perfect English, even though like this section of Romania, even in Romania, is like very separate from the city. It's like it's the countryside of Romania, which is like not a lot of people speak English and that sort of thing. So I was just like, it was just tearing down my, like, at every point, anytime a character was talking, I was like, they're my, sense of place sort of thing.
I am curious how they play with that, because it starts with you looking for his daughter, who obviously like not in 7.
Sure.
Like, So I did kind of look it up a little bit, and apparently, I think what I had read, and again, I don't know how official this was, it's something I randomly found, was that apparently the story is this is a little bit after that, and they had moved to Eastern Europe after the events that happened with the Baker family and everything. So, again...
Okay.
So it's like they've been living here for like a couple years or something like that.
May be... Are you saying he may be speaking Romanian in those scenes?
May be... What I'm saying is he's probably speaking Romanian, and you're getting a dubbed version.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If that's the context that they're actually speaking Romanian, that would be cool. I'd be totally 100% into that. But I thought the context was he's in America, he gets transplanted to Romania, doesn't speak the language and all that stuff, so there's a lot of miscommunication. But and then they're not showing that. But okay, if he's living, okay, fine. Well, that was my biggest complaint. So
that's the closest I can pull out of my ass to come up with something. But otherwise, you're right. I mean, it's very clearly like, oh, you're in a new spot, in a new place where the language difference, but everybody can communicate. Because I do think that's one of those fun things I don't think gets played with enough with all these, like, even with, like, Uncharted games and, like, these, like, globe-trotting adventures. It's like, just because you speak English doesn't mean everybody else speaks English. Like, how many games do you go to, like, random point in, like, China, Africa, like, this random forest that nobody's ever been to, and everybody's like, oh, hey, Nathan Drake, how's it going, buddy?
Exactly. I think contextually, well, I think even on Uncharted, I think they do play with that. Like, the main characters speak English, but they speak other languages, sort of thing. I think that was that dub thing that we were kind of talking about earlier. That's where I'm getting that big disconnect. And I think it's just because this is such like a remote area that's also adding to that. But I think it was cool. I mean, besides that, because it was just neat that it was set in Romania. I just thought that was kind of a cool setting, which was kind of fun, like the countryside of Romania. Because like the chap, I thought the details are really cool. Like the little church that you go to. That's it's funny. Like the outside is like painted, which is like what a traditional countryside Romanian church looks like. It's like all painted on the outside and painted on the inside. I thought like the details inside were like so good. But did you get a weird disconnect of like turning the next gen switch on anytime you walked into a building, and then when you walked out of a building, it's like now it looks like not great?
The interiors definitely looked better. I think outside when you were like just kind of wandering in the like little village area, I don't think it looked quite as good. I think like draw distance and like the couple times you see the castle in the background and stuff like that. Like there were some really, really great scenes with that. But yeah, you definitely can see the detail much better when you're inside. I don't know if that's an issue with being a cross-gen game or if it's just, hey, we know you're going to be looking in this room, so we're going to make this room look good versus who knows if you'll come over to this little tiny corner of the village.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because I thought the lighting like inside was like super insane. And one of the things I really like that like I think that last gen and this gen's playing with now a little bit is like really, really dark settings with like where like the room is black where you can't see. Like I really like that because that scene where the essentially half the demo was a cutscene, which is also one of the issues I had.
Totally fine with that.
Yeah, but it was cool because like that scene because it's like being lit by like the hearth and like the lanterns and that sort of thing. It had this like really, really cool atmosphere, and I thought I was like, oh, this looks really, really nice. And I think it did look cool. But it I don't know, it just didn't feel. I think it was also because the one gameplay segment you have is like so quick, you like kill 2 enemies and then you're out. And I'm thinking because it's kind of alluding to Resident Evil 4, like in Resident Evil 4 demo, it's that opening scene is like the village and you're trying to like board up doors and push stuff over and that kind of thing. So it's like you didn't get that, and like maybe again this is like a demo, so maybe you get that later, but that's kind of things I was like missing. To me it's like, okay, I got to shoot some enemies in a way that I kind of shoot some enemies in a lot of other games, and then there's a big cutscene, and I think that's kind of why it didn't do much for me because I didn't really see the uniqueness of this game. To me was the setting, but that was about all I could. Yeah, and that's all I could pull from it. Really was that. So I was kind of like more tepid, and then like the trailer ran, and I was like, do I really want this? I don't know. Yeah, so I was like just a little bit more tepid on it. I mean, the Resident Evil stuff is cool. I liked your inventory system. I played around just like taking a look at that. I was like, oh, this will be fun to mess around with.
As soon as I got that time limit, I was like, we don't got time for this. We gotta get through this thing. I was very paranoid that like if I sit down for a second, like I'm not making it out. This is 30 minutes. Sure. I got to find the end. I got to get to as much as I can. I get what you're saying because I do think this was very much hey, this is Resident Evil and Resident Evil is still cool. Like,
sure,
that's what this demo told me. It's like we're not taking crazy steps. You're getting what you got in 7. It's still going to be good. We're going to explore a little bit more with it. We're going to do a little bit different story, but you're getting what you got in 7. And to me, if it's more 7, then I'm all on board with that, especially if you're going to tie in 4 because one of the greatest games ever.
I guess that's totally fair. I can see that. I also actually the one thing we didn't talk about that I liked was the weird religion they have. It's like, oh, this is strange.
Oh,
like, let's all hold hands and have like a prayer, and it's like this is not a normal prayer.
that was very much one of those creepy like cultish seeming things. Where like, ooh, okay, we're getting into some cool stuff here. Something crazy gonna happen when.
Yeah. And I did like that. It was just something like I feel like I should like point out. Yeah, there's just some silly stuff in it. That was like it was kind of like I don't know, like the driving the truck. And I was just like, this is kind of weird. There's just some scenes. I don't know. It's just I felt kind of like overall, I felt like a little just tepid on it. And I really think the thing was it's kind of like when you played that first demo, it's like because they tell you so little, they just give you the setting, and it's just like, oh, this is such a cool setting. And then it's like, oh, okay, now here's all the normal gameplay mechanics, I guess.
Yeah, it's that your imagination running wild when you just have a very basic walk through a castle to, oh, okay, this is actually what it is. It's that
exactly.
I can dream up anything at this point versus, okay, now I have that concrete picture of what this game actually is and what it's going to be like.
Yeah, so to me, it's like I'm still excited to get it. Like I'm not pre-ordering though. I'm gonna like just kind of give it the whole up in reviews because it's actually it's not by the Resident Evil 7 team, which is kind of wild. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and it's a new director and all that stuff. So I'm kind of like, okay, we'll see how it goes. It looks cool, and I just like that. I don't know, the Mother Miranda character is really cool looking too. So I don't know, just that it's like cool enemies is enough to make me get a game. So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, the intro where you just like randomly start getting talked to by her, and you're like, whoa, oh, we're just in here, we're just going. Huh?
Yeah, and you see her in the field for like a split second, which is kind of cool. And then like the trailer was like clearly Bloodborne monster, so I was like, all right, okay, I'm good.
That's
I'm good
for me. All right, well, we'll have more when this comes out since I'll be playing it the first day for sure. But we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you later.
Bye.